sponsored it. Like I won't have to trust
Really good silence, everybody. This is
Good practice.
yeah. One minute.
Ours aren't on right now.
Ryan, will you tell me if I get sweat down the side of my face here? Oh, you can hear me.
Thanks to the light, we'll be able to see it.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, bro.
Hi, everybody. Bonsoir, tout le monde. Welcome to the Equities Conversation with the candidates running to be the next warden of MRC Pontiac. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. We'll give you a second to introduce yourselves in just a minute. My name is Sophie Kuiper-Dixon. I'm the editor at The Equity.
And I am Casey Jordan, reporter at The Equity. We're going to be your moderators tonight. And we also have equity reporter Caleb Nickerson over on the other side, keeping time, making sure we're all on track. Puis avant de commencer, on aimerait dire un grand merci à l'École Secondaire Sieur-de-Coulonge pour nous accueillir ici ce soir, et aussi à tout le monde qui est ici à l'écoute, puis aussi sur notre chaîne YouTube.
Before we begin, I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge that we're here tonight on the traditional unceded land of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people, who have lived on and cared for this land for a very long time, longer than any of us have been here, and never agreed to have it taken from them. As we figure out who we want to elect as our next warden, I just wanted to take a second to recognize this history and thank them for being our continuing to host us here. Now, a few notes so everyone knows how this evening is going to go. We've come up with 8 questions based on those submitted to us over the past couple of weeks in the survey that we were circulating online. Thank you all who responded to this survey. They're sitting behind me and online. Thank you if you responded. It really helps us figure out how to use our time here most efficiently and sort of get to what people are wondering about.
Most of these questions that we have are going to be in English. Some of them will be in French. But if any of the candidates need a question repeated in either language, let us know. We're happy to do that for them. And just a little bit about the format. So for 6 of the 8 questions, candidates will each get a minute and a half to respond. For the other 2 questions, we'll give each candidate 2 minutes, and then we'll move into a discussion period of 5 minutes of the topic. And we'll let you know when that happens.
Yeah, and I think it's already been mentioned, but the time will show up on the iPad there, and we'll help you out with all that stuff.
So in terms of order, we're going to have you all introduce yourselves in a minute, going from left to right, giving each candidate an opportunity to be the first to respond and have the last word as well. And then in terms of intermission, we'll have a 15-minute intermission around 7:40, and then just for the audience, make sure you're back in your seats around 7:55 or at 7:55 when the live stream returns. So yeah, let's jump right in here. We're going to get started. So first, we're just going to give you each an opportunity of 30 seconds to introduce yourselves. José Bouchard, you're first on my left here, so I'll let you go ahead. 30 seconds.
Bonsoir, je me nomme José Bouchard. I'm José Bouchard, and I'm running to be your next warden. I've been in the Pontiac since the 90s. I've worked here. Coming to Sieur-de-Coulonge is kind of fun because it's like homecoming to see the old site and see some of the people. And I'm looking forward to this debate so you can get a better idea of what I want to do with our MRC going forward. Donc, j'espère que vous pourrez mieux comprendre quelles sont mes intentions pour la MRC.
Merci, José. Jean-Pierre.
Oui, bonsoir, Jean-Pierre Landry, good evening. I've been living in the Pontiac for close to 60 years now. I moved here in 67 with the pulp and paper mill in Portage that most of you know. Et je suis retraité depuis maintenant 2 ans. So I consider that I have plenty of time to consecrate to the position of warden. And I have tons of ideas, which I'll be gladly sharing with you in the next future.
Thank you. Monsieur Saint-Cyr?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Bruno Sincere. Yeah, I would like to be the next warden of the Pontiac because I have a lot of things to do with the mayors. I'm born in Quebec City. I know a lot of people in Quebec City. It's very easy for me to go there and speak with the government of Quebec because I did it for the last 20 years because I'm
Merci.
from... Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
And,
We're going to give it to
next-
Ms. Toller now.
OK. Bonsoir à tous. Merci à Equity d'accueillir un événement ce soir. C'est formidable de voir autant d'intérêt pour cette élection. Je m'appelle Jane Toller et je termine mon 12e mandat et tant que préfète de la MRC de Pontiac. À mon arrivée dans la région, je savais qu'elle était en déclin, mais je ne voyais que son potentiel. And my Bryson roots are here in the Pontiac. I came as an entrepreneur. I began to invest, and
Okay.
I saw an opportunity to use my
Thank
you.
political experience, and I
Thank you,
Thank you.
Jane.
hope to have another term.
Okay. Thank you for your introductions. I have to remember to lean into the mic. Now for our first official question. We'll do the same order. This one on economic development, it's something you've all mentioned in the interviews we did with you. We know it's top of mind for people here in the Pontiac. There have been promises of big projects that would bring jobs or industries that we can invest in. We're consistently listed among the poorest MRCs in the province. Our question is simple. How will you approach bringing much needed economic development to the region as warden? José Bouchard, you have 90 seconds.
I'll try to fit all that in. Of course, we first were a first resource MRC, so a lot of lumber industry, a lot of mining before, and now we know that we have to move away from that. We need to go to secondary and tertiary type of industries. Of course, going for agriculture, going for agrotourism, and tourism to consolidate the tourism industry are the three main, I think, pillars on which we can build our economy. Of course, it's always hard to move away from something we know and towards something that's different, something that's might not be in our wheelhouse, but I think it's super important to be doing that, because this is the future of the Pontiac. We know that in the last 8 years, things haven't moved a whole lot, so I think we need to pursue those ventures and go even further with those. Agrotourism is something on the rise. We need to go toward that, and I think that with the quality of people we have here, the quality of agriculture we have here, we can invest in agrotourism and increase that part of our economy. I think that will, with those three pillars, I think we will be able to get a better future for our children and have our kids come back here to work in good industries.
Merci, José. Jean-Pierre Landry.
Yes. Well, first of all, I know that there are certain files that are already up and going or in the works. It would be to see those files where they're at and to continue their progression. Also, the forestry industry is not necessarily dead, but we have to reimagine it. There are possibilities in the wood industry, but not in the type of products that we used to know. And I think that we have to be innovative. We have to think outside the box. So there is a possibility there. The biomass is a great resource to develop. Also, in the agroalimentaire, agriculture is a large part of the economy, and I've noticed that it's diversifying itself gradually, and with products and services that are quite interesting. That would be good to promote and develop. But above all, I think that before we think of any major industrial development, we have to think of our energy network, because without proper hydro or proper energy, we can't attract Rio Tinto or, so that would need to be looked into priority number one before we move into any development, economic development.
Merci. Monsieur Saint-Cyr.
Oui. I think that a lot of people knows what I want to do. I always work with objectives in my career, and I would like to ask to all mayors to get an objectives of economic development. I'm not the guy that can say, oh, it could be good or it could be bad, could be good, could be bad about a business development project. I think that all municipalities are different. We cannot ask the municipality of Chichester, and to do the same thing of the municipality of Bristol or Bryson. Anyway, I think that each council with the mayor knows better than nobody that, well, excuse me, I think that tous les maires and tous les conseillers knows better than me what kind of people they have, what kind of resources they have, and what kind of people and what they can do in each of their municipalities. It's for that reason I would like to get an objective of each municipality to get at least one project per year of economic development. It seems that I know that I cannot ask Chichester to get because it's maybe too small, but they can maybe go together
Monsieur
to do a
Saint-Cyr.
project. Sorry.
No, it's my job. Sorry to interrupt you, but
Thank you. I think the most important thing is to drive job creation and to attract investors. And our biggest employer is our hospital. And we, at this point, with Bill 106, really have to protect our hospital and our doctors. I have focused on forestry and agriculture because I agree. I think there are innovative ways to have forestry. We could be the solution for the crisis that's in the Outaouais for pulp and biomass. And we also have a lot of local wood producers that we really need to work more closely with. I think that tourism, with the agritourism and just tourism in general, has really taken on a life of its own. We have to, with agriculture, get the abattoir and agri-sever projects moving forward. And contrary to what's been in the media, the solar project is far from over. And this will help us with energy. It's a reusable energy. It can also help the farmers. And I think that we just need to look at all of those opportunities. Also, a trade school for the youth. A survey was done, and this is something that parents have asked for. We have jobs in the trades that are needed. We have a lot of housing that we want to build, and I think the opportunity to have carpentry and plumbing, electrical, those things, it will keep our youth here, and they will be good-paying jobs. So those are my ideas.
thank you all. On
Okay.
to our next question.
Prochaine question en français. Nous avons beaucoup de besoins puis de défis ici dans le Pontiac, comme les soins de santé, l'hydro, les réseaux cellulaires, par exemple. Mais beaucoup de ces enjeux sont réglés au niveau provincial. Si vous pourriez échanger avec un ministre en particulier au niveau provincial, quel ministre allez-vous choisir? Puis que leur diriez-vous de nos besoins les plus criants dans le Pontiac?
Celui this time, whoa. We're going to start with Jean-Pierre Landré.
Oui, c'est à vous de commencer.
Écoutez, moi, brûle pour point, même, je pense à la ministre Mme Fréchette, qui est la ministre du Développement économique. Donc, je pense que si on veut faire du développement économique, c'est la personne à viser. C'est sûr qu'il y a plein d'autres alliés parce que je veux dire, on est concerné par plein de ministères, autant au niveau de la santé, hein, on a des problèmes au niveau de la santé, on a des problèmes au niveau de l'éducation, au niveau du développement économique. Donc, mais au niveau du développement, en tout cas, je serais très tenté de voir Mme Fréchette en premier pour lui exposer notre situation géoéconomique et essayer de promouvoir certains projets qu'on pourrait mettre sur la table, à la table du Conseil des maires. Donc, ça serait, selon moi, là, à première vue, la brûle pour point, ça serait Mme Fréchette.
D'accord, merci. À vous, M. Saint-Cyr.
C'est une très bonne question. Je suis membre du comité du Pontiac, le comité des usagers du service de santé, des services de santé du Pontiac. Et effectivement, on a beaucoup d'enjeux dans ce secteur-là. Alors, j'irai voir un confrère de classe, qui est le ministre de l'Éducation, qui est M. Dubé, pour lui démontrer ce qui est à faire dans le Pontiac, et là où on est et là où on doit arriver. On sait tous que la moyenne, l'espérance de vie dans le Pontiac est inférieure à l'espérance de vie de l'Outaouais, est inférieure à l'espérance de vie de la moyenne au Québec, puis est bien entendu est de 78 ans, tandis que la meilleure région, où est-ce que l'espérance de vie au Québec et Laval est à 84 ans. Wow, ça fait 6 ans de différence. Je pense qu'on devrait peut-être tous déménager à Laval pour essayer de vivre 6 ans de plus, mais c'est pas notre projet. Notre projet, c'est d'avoir de meilleurs services dans le Pontiac. On n'a aucune raison pour ne pas avoir la même espérance de vie que la meilleure région au Québec. Bien entendu, tout ça va commencer par une meilleure économie. Qui dit meilleure économie, dit moins de stress, moins d'anxiété, ce qui fait que ça va influencer énormément l'espérance de vie de nos aînés.
D'accord, merci. À vous, Madame Toller.
J'ai beaucoup de chance car je me rends 4 fois par an à Québec pour les réunions de la FQM et au cours des 8 dernières années, j'ai eu l'occasion de m'entretenir avec de nombreux ministres. Ce que je dirais aujourd'hui au ministre de la Santé, M. Dubé, c'est que nous devons absolument modifier le projet de loi 106 qui aura des effets dévastateurs et sur nos soins de santé. Il introduisait un système de quotas qui pénalisait le salaire de nos médecins alors que les responsabilités des médecins ruraux sont complètement différentes de celles des médecins urbains. Nos médecins doivent se rendre aux urgences en soins palliatifs et en soins de longue durée, ainsi qu'aux patients hospitalisés et seront rémunérés en fonction du nombre de patients qu'ils voient en médecine familiale. Nous devons lutter contre cela et veiller à ne pas perdre un seul de nos médecins de Pontiac, car cela représente une menace imminente de les voir partir en Ontario. Je voudrais également m'adresser au nouveau ministre de la Foresterie, M. Simard, pour lui expliquer comment le Pontiac peut être la solution à la crise de l'Outaouais dans le domaine de la pâte et biomasse.
Merci beaucoup. Merci. Next question. Ah, en fait, Madame Bouchard, est-ce que vous n'avez pas répondu, en fait?
C'est la même chose qu'on a fait.
On va te donner la parole.
C'est certain que de dire on veut rencontrer un ministre en particulier, moi, je ne le vois pas. Je vous dirais que ce qu'il faut rencontrer, c'est plusieurs ministres. Nous avons plusieurs dossiers qui fonctionnent plus ou moins bien. Notre situation frontalière fait qu'on a de maintes défis. C'est sûr qu'on a des défis en santé, on a des défis en économie, on a des défis en foresterie, en ressources premières, on a des défis aussi grand, sinon plus que l'Outaouais. L'Outaouais est très, très oublié de Québec et je pense qu'il faut absolument faire front avec les gens de l'Outaouais et qu'une grosse délégation de l'Outaouais débarque à Québec et fassent entendre leur voix, parce que c'est nous tous qui sommes pénalisés, et on est d'autant plus pénalisés qu'on est encore un peu plus loin. Fait que je pense que c'est vraiment une action beaucoup concertée et ensemble qui peut faire qu'on va avoir l'oreille de plusieurs ministres, et idéalement du premier ministre, parce qu'on sait que souvent les grandes décisions qui se prennent au Conseil des ministres, ça peut émaner, et ça semble surtout émaner avec le gouvernement actuel, du premier ministre lui-même. Donc, c'est vraiment à cet égard-là, un ministre par un ministre, souvent, ça a une influence plus minime. Je pense que d'avoir une grosse délégation qui exige des rencontres avec essentiellement plusieurs ministres et le premier ministre pourra avoir un effet un peu plus massu.
Merci beaucoup. On avance à la prochaine question, this time in English. As warden of this MRC, you will represent people from both Anglophone and Francophone communities. How do you understand those communities' different needs, and how would you make sure those needs are fairly represented at the MRC level? Puis on vous donne la chance de répondre dans la langue de votre choix, English or French. Cette fois, on commence avec Monsieur Saint-Cyr.
Could you repeat, please, the question?
So as warden, you will represent people from both English and French communities, Anglophone and Francophone. How do you understand those different communities' needs, and how would you make sure those needs are met at the MRC level?
Well, the MRC of Pontiac is very rich because we have two languages, and you need to know that I learned English when I was for Gulf Canada, and I'm not a perfect bilingual guy, but I try, and I will be more bilingual in the next future when I'll be at with the mayors, and I can learn very, very fast. We all know that we need to be we are bilingual, and we need to stay bilingual. For me, it's a richesse that we have in the province of Quebec. We are the only MRC which is bilingual, and we need to stay bilingual.
But Monsieur Saint-Cyr, maybe in the day-to-day of the job, for example, like le jour à jour, le quotidien du job de préfet, how would you make sure that those needs are met?
Could you repeat, please?
En français?
No. Could you repeat? I don't understand because your microphone is maybe... Could you repeat, please?
Dans le quotidien du job de préfet, comment est-ce que vous allez vous assurer que les besoins des communautés anglophones puis francophones dans notre communauté vont être respectés? C'est ça la question.
Well, you know, with communication with everybody, we can do. What can I say? If I speak in English with the guy at Chichester or with the guy at Bristol, with the guy, you know, I can ask, okay, did I understand what you are saying? Did you understand what I'm saying? And it's very easy, you know. Anyway, I think that with the project that I have, to ask to them, oops, it's 0. Sorry about that. I saw 0 on your computer and on your timer.
Okay, Madame Toller.
Thank you.
In English or French?
Pontiac has always been bilingual. 15 out of 18 municipalities have bilingual status. Now, with Bill 96, all of these cases will have a major impact on the lives and livelihoods of all Quebecers. And in particular, I know that it's very challenging for our English farmers and businesses who receive all communications from the government in French. It is true that the MRC and our municipalities do their best to translate, but I think we need more at an MRC level to help our constituents. And also, in particular, medical information has to be communicated in the language that people best understand. That's a necessity. And our council meetings at the moment are held in English, but we always invite everyone to speak in the language of their choice. And I believe, as Bruno has said, that this is an attraction about the Pontiac. I think one reason that so many people have moved here, especially from Ontario, is because they do know that we have French and English. I think everyone should make the effort to be bilingual. I started later in life, in my 60s, and I'm not completely bilingual, but working at it. And today we have over 60% of our residents who do identify as first language English. So I think it's very important that we never forget that and remember that in our roots, we've always been bilingual.
Thank you. Madame Bouchard, your turn.
J'ai la chance et le privilège d'être complètement bilingue. Donc, j'ai été scolarisée en français, mais j'ai fait my bachelor at Bishop's University, so I'm fully bilingual. For me, the day-to-day is whatever language people wishes to use, so it is not an obstacle for me. I do know that some of our Anglophone constituents do need help with having the forms and all the paperasse in French. So for me, it would be important that we have a bureau, an office, a translation office at the MRC, so people can drop there if they need help, or have all the paperwork that comes down from Quebec City, which is in French, translated into a correct and proper English, so that whenever the Council of Mayor has to take a decision, they have the sense of the law and they have the exactitude of whatever was parachuted down from Quebec City, and also be there to help people who would have necessities to have things translated. Alors pour moi, le fait d'être bilingue me permet de communiquer avec les gens dans un sens comme dans l'autre, fait que c'est vraiment pas un obstacle dans mon quotidien. Également, moi j'aimerais bien avoir un bureau de traduction à la MRC même pour la paperasse de la MRC et de ce qui nous arrive de Québec, et également qu'elle soit disponible pour les citoyens qui en auraient besoin dans le Pontiac.
Thank you. Monsieur Landry, your turn.
I know that it's a touchy subject, and yes, it's something to be proud of to be bilingual. Mais il y a aussi une question de culture. On parle souvent de la langue, mais il y a la culture aussi. Et de préserver une langue, c'est aussi de préserver sa culture. Et je ne parle pas seulement qu'au niveau de la langue française, je parle au niveau des autres nationalités, parce qu'il ne faut pas se le cacher, dans le Pontiac, on a plusieurs nationalités, dont des peuples autochtones. Et eux, entre autres, justement, commencent à justement se battre pour la préservation de leur langue. Donc, je pense que c'est une question de respect. To be bilingual, like José says, it's an asset to me. From what I understand, most of the documents that come from the MRC are translated, minutes and so on. There are certain documents from the province that unfortunately cannot be translated because of the law, but if we put more pressure, depending on the importance of these documents, maybe in a short or medium term, we can get a little bit of cooperation from Quebec. But I think it's to be conciliant at the base and to be respectful.
Merci, Monsieur Landry. So, we're going to move to our first discussion question. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to first respond to the question, and then we'll move into a 5-minute discussion where you're really just encouraged to sort of jump in there, not talking over each other, but we'll guide if needed. So here's the question. In our interviews, each of the new candidates spoke to the need they saw for change. It's an easy thing to call for from the outside, so we wanted to give you a little bit more time to elaborate on why you believe change is needed and how you would be, what you would do to bring about that change at the MRC. But first, we wanted to give an opportunity to incumbent Jane Toller to speak to your past 8 years in the position and why you believe you should be given a third term in this role. 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's really been an honor to have been the first elected warden, and for the 8 years, I feel that we have brought the MRC Pontiac from a devitalized state to revitalization has certainly started, and it's partially helped by the $5 million we received from the Municipal Affairs, and we're going to be receiving that again. But it will be great because two municipalities have to work together to qualify for the money. I feel that in the last 8 years, we've had lots of challenges, some such as the flood of 2019, and then watching that flooding since. I'm very absorbed with that. I started the flood prevention task force, and I think it's a watchdog. It's something that's very important. We've learned a lot about the river, and we need to work, with Ontario as well. I think that COVID-19 was another challenge. Now we've got the hydro outages, and I feel that we've got a modernization plan in place, but it's just too far off in the future. So we need urgency to have that rolled out, and it's certainly not the only reason why we're having all of these outages. And when you're trying to move a region forward with economic development, it's very difficult when you've got power outages, plus to say nothing of the people that are at home that rely on it, as well as just, the hospitals, et cetera. So I feel that one thing that I offer for this next term is the opportunity to complete some of my original 11 priorities. I believe you need to start with a plan. I have accomplished quite a bit of my original list, but there are some things that I think I'm the only person that will see them through. For example, the Pontiac Pool. Another would be forestry. I think I am the most motivated candidate to see a community forest in the Pontiac and to also see a solution for pulp and biomass.
Thank you.
Also
We're
with
out of time.
Oh, we're out of time.
2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. On to the next.
Josie, so the question for you now, Madame Bouchard, is why are you calling for change, and why are you the person who can bring it?
I feel that my experience as someone who's motivated people, let's say for the health services, we got a group together and we got our issues heard. So I think that motivating people into working together is something that's an asset for me. I feel that maybe a lot of priorities makes our MRC disperse its effort into focusing into 2 or 3 objectives. More than that makes it very hard and very feel like a little, going here and there and everywhere. And I feel that $5 million is not a whole lot. I think we should be getting more. We know that the Outaouais has always been underfunded, and I think the Pontiac has always been underfunded. There are similar regions to us who have far greater funding, so we have to find the root cause of why we're being underfunded, and I feel that sometimes we need to speak to the reason why we might not be funded as equally as the others. So I think we need to dig a lot and make sure that we focus on a few issues and make sure we get those done. Too many issues makes us disperse and does not bring about results. You're saying that we're doing better. We're still, second to last in the province. In the last 8 years, nothing has moved. So I think we need new blood and new ideas.
Thank you, Madame Bouchard. Monsieur Landry.
Yes, we do need change, definitely, and I think we need change of perspective, a change in our way of seeing things, a change in our vision. I'd mentioned we were lacking patriotism. It seems that ever since the forestry crisis a few years back, we've lost courage, we've lost our identity, we've lost, and we need to regain that. We lost confidence in ourselves. And we need to regain that and to look at things in a different perspective, in a different way. We have to think outside the box, and we have to be open, have an open dialogue with the community, with the table of mayors, with the employees at the MRC. because they have a great part to do in whatever accomplishments we may produce. So I think that we have to open our mind and be more positive. Some gentleman told me a few years back, well, actually, not long after the forestry crash, that I had found that exactly we were kind of a depressed area. You know, you could almost feel it in the area, in the air. And this person told me, he says, you know, whenever a region is economically depressed, its citizens are also depressed. So I think that we need to work on that. We have to boost our ego, like I say, and give ourselves confidence and hope.
Merci.
And
Monsieur Saint-Cyr.
yeah, I'm 100% with Mr. Landry. When the MRC or the economy is depressed, everybody are depressed. Kids are depressed. What can I say? As a member of the CU and Pontiac, and because I am the representative of Pontiac at the Ottawa region on the committee of des usagers, we saw a lot of bad numbers about the Ottawa and in the Pontiac, it's bad and bad on every line. The only trick that we need to put good numbers on those lines, it's to be economic, it's to work on the economic development project. And this is the only way that we can go where we were. Now, where do we need to go? Which one do we need to choose? It's not for me and not for the MRC to choose. It's for each municipalities to choose that. Those municipalities know better than me and than everybody what kind of project they can do in their own municipalities. When we have very, very good project and when the project is bankable, bankable means when you can do do the project and then when we can bring your project to the bank, after that we can go to the government of Quebec and say, whoa, hey, I have a good project there. And this is time to invest with the bank and with person that will want to do the project.
Merci. Okay. Has anybody heard anything that they want to respond to? Ideas that were put on the table? I see Jane, Ms. Toller nodding her
I'd
head.
like to jump in and just say that our population has increased, and I think it all starts with bringing people to the Pontiac. The next census is next year, but we're almost at 15,000 people, and in 2017 we were at 14,200, so I think this is great news. But I agree with what JP said. I think that if the economy is depressed, the people are, but we need to diversify, because before we had all of our eggs in one basket with the forestry and agriculture. And what we really need to do is bring professionals here. We need to also make sure that our healthcare and our hospital is in top working order. Right now we have no orphans. That means every resident has a doctor. We need to protect that and fight for that, because if people and cell service, we did get in the last 4 years the internet across the region, but the cell service we now know will be accomplished by November 2026 with a satellite, not cell towers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, you did say that you had 11 priorities. It's a lot of priorities. I understand we have to diversify, but it's running every which way. So I feel that it lacks focus. It doesn't help anybody sort of get it in the groove of what is happening. And, we'll see with the census, but we do know that population have been fluctuating a lot because of the post-COVID, and I see people starting to leave again. So we need absolutely to have decent jobs here, well-paying jobs for people to move here. If we don't have that, then it will not, it will not sustain itself. yes, we do need some other services, but it's important to be super focused on creating jobs and good, decent jobs. And I feel that having too many, like, disperse our effort will not bear fruit. It hasn't bear fruit in the last 8 years. Like, economy is not that much stronger than in first term and second term. So I think we need to up our game in that way. So I feel it's quite important to focus a bit more, and it will help, I think, everybody understand the directions we're taking. It's quite important.
I'm just going to see, because it's not a long time, but Jean-Pierre or Bruno, excuse me.
I can go ahead. Well, first of all, I never understood how come there was 11 priorities. No, usually it's an even number, like 10 or 5. But en tout cas, and I'm not so sure how many of these 11, how far they are. But anyways, besides that, for the population, fine. But if the growth is mostly retired people, with all due respect, it's not helping the economy. It's helping the local economy with the taxes for the municipalities, but it's not necessarily creating jobs or maintaining our schools open or maintaining all the different services in the hospital service, We can't specialize in geriatrics only. We need to have a diversified hospital with different services, and for that you need a variety of population, from young to old.
Bruno, avant qu'on...
Ouais, I'm with Madame Bouchard and with Mr. Landry, and because focus to 10, 11, or so on, it's very, very hard when you are alone. And for me, one project per municipality managed by the municipality, it's more easy than 10, 11, or so n'importe quel autre chiffre. Each municipality has to manage. If they need help from the MRC, if they need help from me, I will be able to get their help. And if we don't have the expertise, we can ask somebody else to get the expertise. The best project that we can get is a project that the municipality wants to do in their municipality. And that's it, that's all.
Okay.
In defense of the 11 priorities, I heard those at the door, and I approached the 4 years each time with urgency, because if you have a plan, at least you've got something to work on. And also, if you work on many things at one time, there's a greater chance that something's going to get accomplished.
Okay, we're pretty much exactly at time. That brings us to our intermission. So 15 minutes, everybody. What time is it right now? 7:40? On the dot.
Nice.
So 7:55.
Brian, are the mic...
dramatic intro. Yeah.
Going live in 5, 4.
Okay, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We're just going to jump right back into where we left off here. Our next question is about intermunicipal cooperation. This is something a lot of municipalities have already been looking into on their own accord. It's getting more expensive for our 18 municipalities to run all their own services, everything from fire departments to infrastructure like arenas and others. We want to hear from you where you think municipalities, well, if you think, and then where you think municipalities should be sharing services to save taxpayers' money, and how you would encourage this as the warden at the Council of Mayors. So, José Bouchard, this question starts with you.
Ooh,
For 90 seconds.
I get the good question. Of course, our municipalities, I think everybody's taxed enough. Like, we're all at the max of what can be happening. And I think the fire services and the fire coverage plan shows us the way that we can save a little bit of money and share resources. We know that equipment gets to be super expensive, and I think that being many municipalities together will help alleviate a lot of the cost and will help, sort of maintain all the taxes at a reasonable rate. So if we can do it for fire coverage, why not see what else can we do? Let's sit down, all the mayors at the Council of Mayors, all the municipalities, sit down and seriously talk about what we have, what we can share, what we're able to share, to make sure that we don't go out and buy a truck when it's not necessary. Maybe the next municipality. How many hours? So we need to be very strategic about whatever we have. We have tons. How many tons of equipment? We have many people working for us. Is there a way to share? So that way we limit the taxpayers' burden.
Merci, José. À vous, Jean-Pierre.
Oui, c'est une réalité à laquelle il faut faire face.
Pardon, en anglais, in English, sorry, that was my bad idea.
Sorry. Yes, it is a reality that we have to face, unfortunately, especially being a community of small municipalities. Duplicating, we cannot afford to do so anymore. And like José was saying, the fire safety coverage plan is forcing us more or less to look at that avenue because we have to comply with the safety cover plan. However, it is a very expensive plan to put in application for small municipalities. So it is a start, like José was mentioning. There are other fields, for instance, in professional services. I look at certain municipalities where they have a hard time to hire DGs or administrative personnel. Well, maybe if we could share those services, because now DG's responsibility are way greater than back when I started, where it was a secretary-treasurer and all she did was collect tax, write out letters, and issue receipts. Now, with all the government downloading, it's way more complicated, and you have to be on top of things. So there are certain avenues. If Laval and Longueuil, two major cities in Quebec, can manage to share services, I think we certainly can.
Merci. Over to you, Monsieur Saint-Cyr.
Yeah, it's a must for me. A must between the municipalities. They need to cooperate together. They need to do something together to do less expenses when it's possible. First of all, I think that we need to analyze what other municipalities like the MRC of Pontiac does, and say, okay, we can maybe do that, maybe we can do that, and show that to the mayors, and they can maybe choose. Hold on a sec. They can maybe choose what they want to do. But yes, it's a place to. There is no place to duplicate services that we can do in our MRC. There is no sense to do that too. And if, for example, I saw the project for the fire department of the old MRC, and it's very, very logic. It's very, we have a lot of things to do with it. We have. But we need to focus with all mayors where we can do the same thing. But we'll see. We need to do as we can, the most cooperation that we can do.
Okay.
And I would like to add something. We can do the same thing with the other MRC too.
Okay. Ms. Toller.
Thank you. At one time, I was in Toronto, and I was there when 6 cities amalgamated, and that was quite something. But in time, you see that it makes sense, and you see the savings. I'm really excited about the intermunicipal sharing. We already currently have it in Pontiac West. We have Shawville and Clarendon working well with Bristol. With the fire services, this has been a really good exercise. There's lots of public consultation. No decision has been made yet, but what we've done is actually come up with a business plan to give us a sustainable future, because the only other place to receive money to manage all of these services is the taxpayer. And one of the things I'm hearing at the door is that taxpayers need us to do our very best to keep taxes affordable and the evaluation so that no one has to leave the Pontiac. And the MMASH, as I said earlier, is now offering grants where municipalities have to work together. And so we're thinking less and less, especially at the MRC Council of Mayors table. They are a mayor in their own municipality, but when they come to that table, we're looking for best practices and the best way to, in a business-like way, for the sake of our taxpayers, to share and avoid duplication.
Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, moving on to the next question. This one is a hot topic. It's about property valuations, which have gone up across the MRC in the past few years. In many ways, people have said that they feel, maybe these evaluations are unfair. They've gone up in an unfair way. Knowing that the MRC does have some power to control how these assessments are done and how the shares are calculated, what would you do as warden to ensure that this system is fair for all? Mr. Landry, we'll start with you.
First of all, I know that is another touchy subject, a very hot file, like we'd say, but I think it's not just affecting the MRC Pontiac. There are many regions who are living the same reality. And I think that it is probably time to question the mathematics behind it, to see if it would be possible to change the way the evaluation is made, especially in defavorished parts of the province like ours, where the taxes are going up, but our income isn't and our population isn't, because we have to be aware that the more we are to chip into the pie, the smaller the pieces will be. So that is another way of looking at it, is that we need to increase the number of contributors, which means taxpayers, in order to alleviate the burden on everybody's tax. So it's a file that's worth quite a bit of attention, I think.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Mr. Saint-Cyr. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to mention that the first job that I did after my university degree at Laval University was at Sonarex, which was an evaluation company. And actually, they are using exactly the same file that we were using to evaluate properties. It's a good system. In the MRC, it's a very, very bad place to do what we have right now. It's a very bad file. It's not normal to get what we have right now. We need to find a way to do better than we are. If we need to reevaluate all of the properties in the MRC to get the perfect match between all municipalities, why not? If it costs $500,000, if it costs, anyway, it's the way to do. It's the way to be fair. And if we want to be a very good MRC with economic development as we want, we need to be fair with everybody in the MRC, and we want to live together in the same boat as we can. You know.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Moving on to Ms. Toller. Go ahead.
Thank you. Well, evaluation is something that is done every 3 years, generally across the 18 municipalities, and sometimes we wanted to have all 18 done in 1 year. It's just physically not possible. Could make a difference, we think. But we need to keep taxes affordable and can do so through, municipalities setting their mill rate and sharing services. But the evaluation situation, for example, at Elena Kaywood with Dreamy Estates, was caused by a real estate spike. So one thing that I'm very proud that our MRC Council did is we have changed things so that the real estate spike or comparative factor can only be 50% of the amount, and the other is based on the assessed value. We're also allowing flexibility of the inspectors that come, sometimes from Quebec City, that when they see something unusual, that they don't just say, well, I guess it's going to have a 370% increase. That won't happen anymore. We're giving them that ability to say this doesn't make sense. And finally, I wanted to say that we will reevaluate our practice in 2 years. If this hasn't made enough of a difference, we can look at it again. And finally, I really believe in neighborhoods. This is something where in one municipality, all is not the same. You have waterfront properties, different factors. So we need to identify neighborhoods. This is something that I think we need to in the next term of council. So for example, in Mansfield, there could be 8 or 10 different neighborhoods, and so they would be judged differently based on the real estate market, so that one increase doesn't go across. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on.
So of course, it's a very difficult issue. We know that, properties because of COVID went way out of whack. Why was that not addressed before everybody got an increase in taxes that was beyond belief? So I think it's super important to, whenever there's a problem like that, or an issue like that we indeed take it into account before we start calculating, to avoid the tax shock that everybody received. And of course, calculating differently and saying, well, if we need to do it once every 2 years, but 3 years, but getting everybody done that year, let's hire extra people and let's get it done. So that way we don't have such big discrepancies. And of course, the mill rate, the municipalities have to be have to take into account that they can play with their mill rates to help also alleviate the tax shock that everybody lived. So I think it's very important in fairness and equity that when we do the evaluation, once every 3 years, and there's sort of a rotation of the number, I think that could lead to some very biased things. So I think it's important that whenever it's that time, let's make sure that we do it that year for everybody at the same time.
Okay, great, thank you. We're at our second discussion question. We'd hit everyone on that one, right? 4 people? Yes. Okay. As a quick reminder, I think you guys have this down, but you'll each be given 2 minutes for this one, and then we'll do a 5-minute discussion. Again, please jump in. I want to make sure everyone gets as much time as possible in that discussion, so I'll interrupt you if someone's getting too much. But our question is about transparency at the MRC. A lot of the feedback we got in our survey and the questions submitted and was around concerns with lack of transparency at the MRC. And we know there are different ways to do this, to bring more transparency, but our question is, do you believe the current level of transparency and accountability around MRC decision-making is adequate, is enough? And if not, what would you do to improve it? And this is starting with Monsieur Bruno Saint-Cyr.
It's a hard question to answer. I would like to pass it, but I'll try. The best way that we can do business, it's to do the truth, to say the truth, and everybody has to know what's happened in the MRC and what we are doing. It's for that reason when I'm planning to get some objective with every municipalities to get new project. We need to do a round table at each meeting to know what's happened in their municipality in business development. This is the only way that we can go at the place that we want to be in 4 years. And in 4 years, I want for this municipality to get more jobs for people who are actually working outside of the MRC. There is new economy, there is new product, there is a new politic between the Canada and US. We need to find our way to do economic growth in our MRC. Somebody wants to go behind and say, oh, maybe in wood we can, in wood industry or in the forestry industry we can do something. I did 3 or 4 times in Finland, and in Finland 31% of their...
Okay, merci, Monsieur Saint-Cyr. Jane Toller.
It really concerns me when I hear that people think we're non-transparent, and I say, why? Is it just because the plenary meetings are not open? In Quebec, there is no MRC with open plenary meetings. Only the City of Gatineau has a partially open meeting. I tried to... I suggested this in 2018, but I didn't have enough support with the mayors because I came from Ontario and there are no closed meetings. All committee meetings, everything's open. So I don't know why it's unique in Quebec. I think that we can always be more transparent. And so what are some ways we could do that? Well, we are now making sure that we read out the resolutions and explain them beforehand. I think that we could have the agendas available earlier. But another thing is that that I think is a very positive thing. When I was first elected, I noticed that there was no question of conflict of interest on the agenda, and I was the one that asked for that. So that was a turning point. And I think that's a very important question. You need to know that everyone around the table declares if there is a conflict or even a perceived conflict. And so again, I would welcome all suggestions from our residents on how they feel that we can be more transparent. It's very important. I can say from my personal experience that our group of mayors, in my opinion, are very transparent. Sometimes it's a need-to-know basis. We don't always announce things if they are not ready to begin. And that's just not building people's hopes up. And, it's meeting expectations and making sure that we don't promise what we can't deliver. But that's the only reason for potential secrecy is because it's not the right time to announce it publicly.
Okay. Maintenant, Jose, for you, just reminding the question is, do you believe the current level of transparency is adequate? And if no, what would you like to see done to change it?
In my opinion, no, it's not transparent enough. An MRC is a government level, and a government is there for everyone. The plenaries, as far as I'm concerned, should be strictly limited to either because there's something that a lawsuit of some sort, or it's a human resources question. The rest should be dealt in committees, and the committees bring back their findings to the table of mayors. Right now, the people find it's absurd, or they feel they're not heard, because when it gets to the Council of Mayor, this is when the decision is made. They've not been through the process, they've not been through the reflection, they haven't heard the expert talk to them or explain to them what's happening. So of course there's a level of frustration that's quite understandable. So for me, any decision that would be made at the Council of Mayor would, before that, have been addressed in open committees where people with their ideas and expertise can come and explain what's happening. We have experts there who can also respond to whatever the issue is. And when that gets back to the Council of Mayors, that part of the information plus strong neutral data is bind together to make the decision. So that way people who feel they need to get better explanation or want to have an input have a space to have an input. A Council of Mayor is not a long enough space. There is no room there to open a discussion for the public. We have people who want to be involved in the decision, and I think that's just fair, and I think we need to organize it so that way it's open to everyone.
Merci, Monsieur Landry.
Yes, transparency is a big word that a lot of people seem to be using without, how can I say that, without honesty or without the depthness of the meaning. Being transparent is informing the people, is with no hidden agenda, and it's saying things as they are. Of course, certain things cannot all be revealed, but I think that if the public is basically informed without going into details, and we have all kinds of means, Facebook, the internet page, newsletters, the newspapers, medias, if they are made aware of the basics of certain projects or certain decisions that will be taken in the near future, it would eliminate a lot of questions. I think that a lot of questions are being asked because things aren't clear and they're lacking information. So if you give them sufficient information without revealing any secrets, because we are well aware that in dealing in businesses or with the government, there are certain things that you can't say. But it doesn't boil down to, I have a plan, I have connections, there is something coming. That is very vague. If you have a plan, what is that plan? If you have possibilities of project, if there's no jeopardy for the success of the project, why not put it out forward? So I think that the basics is information and saying it as it is. That is what transparency is. And I think it can be changed at the MRC. It could be improved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right on time. You guys are good at this, getting better. Discussion. I'm sure you all have things you want to respond to. I just wanted to expand, it's the question of transparency at the MRC, but also how, if you have thoughts about how the MRC communicates with the public around projects, what consultation looks like, essentially the relationship between the MRC and the public. I'll give it to Jane for a minute here, and
Thank you.
guys jump in with what you've got to say.
I have a suggestion, and that is that when we have our public meeting, there are certain issues that I think the public would enjoy hearing our debate and our opinions instead of just voting. So we could save some of those items to the public meeting, but more than that, I think that the practice of town hall meetings is very important, and especially around budget time to even explain that or explain evaluation. Or, often the MRC is blamed for many things, but it's also just a lack of information. So, that's on us to provide more information to the public and open the doors more and just make sure that everybody is clear about why we're there and what our role is.
Okay. Please.
Well, you talk about this now, but we've hardly seen any of that in the last 8 years. And there's no strategic planning of communication. After there's a meeting, I mean, it's tons of paperwork. You have to look at the website. You have to go somewhere and, find click before you even find part of the information. And it is too late once it's at the Council of Mayors. Why are there so many ask of information, like official ask of information? That's because the information is not out there. It's a public, it's a governmental strata of governing, and it should be open. I do not understand why it is so closed up. The plenaries, I mean, people have to realize we're in the 21st century. People want to be heard. People want to participate, and they want to have a forum to do that. And the Council of Mayor, I think, is not the appropriate one. We need to organize the MRC meetings, the MRC differently so that people can be heard and can participate. And that would alleviate a lot of the problematics that we've heard about being closed up, not having anything, and not saying anything, and keeping everything under wraps.
Okay.
I think that people have to realize that this is how it should be going forward, not as it was in the last 8 years. That's not appropriate, and that's not good policies.
And can I add something?
Yeah, please.
I'm completely agree with it. And I think that it's not from the eight last year. I think there is a genetic there in the MRC of Pontiac. There is a lot. On a eu beaucoup de projets qui sont morts à cause des portes closes. There is a lot and a lot of committee, not a lot. There is a lot of committees in the MRC, and they do something, and we don't know. We don't know. We don't know what they do. We don't know what they decide. They don't know what they want to. It's incredible. Okay, it's for that reason I would like to put each municipalities manage their own growth. No committees to do a jambette to a good project.
Okay.
It's not normal.
Jean-Pierre. Yeah.
It's not normal. Thank you very much for your Madame Bouchard for that.
I think also part of the transparency and information relies on the local municipalities. Each municipality has a certain responsibility to inform their own population. Is it always being done? Is it always being reported correctly? That I don't know. I'm not here to judge. But it don't just stem from the MRC, the information or transparency. It stems also from your local municipality. So I think that we all have to work a little bit, each on our side, in regards with the transparency.
Yeah, please.
Could I just add one
Yeah.
thing? Thank you for that. And it reminded me that mayors have a responsibility to go back to their councils and give a full report of the MRC meeting. And, the mayors are together twice a month. This is a working session. And if we can be successful to have an open plenary at MRC Pontiac, we will be the first in Quebec. Because it's just been a cultural thing. I can't explain it. But at the end of the day, the way it works is the 18 mayors will vote on it. If 9 will vote in favor of an open plenary, then the warden can then vote. And if I'm there, I will vote for it.
Okay. Anybody else want to weigh in on, there will surely be big infrastructure projects that people will want to bring here, and well, maybe it'll be the MRC. What needs to be done to make sure that people are brought along from the beginning of these projects? I'm just spitballing here. I was hoping to prompt you guys to chat a little bit more.
I feel that any project that is brought forward, open discussion, town halls, and more formal committees. I know Mr. Saint-Cyr is not strong on committees, but open committees so that people are there are questions, they have answers, they have ideas, we have the specialists there, and it gets discussed there. And from that, we do get a conclusion that's brought back to the MRC table. Also, we do need a very strong strategic communication plan. If we do not inform people properly through different channels, different means, of course, a lot of frustration is still going to remain at the MRC level. It needs to be super open, super organized so that after a meeting, after a committee, after a council of mayor, the next day or 2 days after, there's a summary that's open, that's everywhere, and it's easily accessible so that people can get the information. So I think that the lack of transparency, having those closed plenaries, and having lack of information has brought forth a lot of frustration in people. So if we could work on that and get that very well organized, I think our MRC will just come out on top. And whatever else is happening in Quebec, that's on them. Like, if we can be different, we're always different in the Pontiac, so let's be different. Let's not have those plenaries like they have elsewhere, because elsewhere it's not going well either. So we don't have, when it's broken, let's fix it, and let's fix it well, and we'll fix it the Pontiac way.
I can see we've got 2 more people who want to respond. I'm just going to give it to Jean-Pierre, and then I'll give it to Jane.
Excuse me. The plenary, yes, I'm in favor of having it open to a certain extent, because there are matters that cannot be discussed in the public, because sometimes we may end up getting out of there, the meeting at midnight, because there'll be too much interference and input and all that. I'm not saying that the input's not necessary, but when the public needs to be consulted, then you have your town halls or surveys, and but the information, it's important that it goes out, not only for our own citizens, but for the rest of the province and the rest of the region. Because if nothing comes out of the MRC, it doesn't reach Quebec, it doesn't reach Montreal, doesn't reach the other regions. So by having more information out there of what's in the boiling, it can be beneficial in a broader sense than just regional.
Okay.
And I agree
and we'll
that...
just do 1 minute, and then we'll wrap it up.
Thank you. I agree with what's been said about plenary, with certain provisos like HR issues or confidential issues would just be in camera, the rest could be open. But one thing that's really helped, I think it was as a result of COVID, was that we had Facebook Live and now YouTube, so at least our meetings are being taped, so it means people can see those and watch if they can't come. One thing that I was the one that suggested that our council meetings be held in the evening. They used to be in the afternoon, and I thought for working people it needed to be at 6:30 at night, so that was a change I made. And finally, I like your idea, Jose, about committees having citizen input. We could have some committees, maybe task forces for certain things, where we would ask for volunteers or choose certain people that would bring certain information that could help us make well-informed opinions. Oh, and finally, sorry, this is something that we need to invest in. For $10,000, we would be able to poll all the people in the Pontiac on any issue. So, for example, with the energy from waste, we could have done that.
Okay, well, lessons for the future. We're up to our last question. Sorry, thank you all.
Okay.
Over to Casey.
Oui, en fait, la dernière question de la soirée, notamment en français. Ce soir, on a beaucoup parlé, entre autres, de développement, d'économie, de priorités pour la région, mais on ne voulait pas quitter la salle ce soir sans apprendre à vous connaître un peu comme individu. Alors, on vous demande, au-delà des politiques, quelles qualités possédez-vous comme individu qui font de vous le meilleur choix pour mener notre MRC vers le futur? Puis on va commencer avec Mme Toller.
OK. À mon opinion, c'est une longue question. Est-ce que possible pour traduire en anglais? Donc, je sais mon réponse.
So, in broad strokes, we've talked a lot about economy and policy points tonight. Just so that people can get to know you and as a person and why you are the best individual, what qualities you have that are best to lead the MRC.
And how long do I have for this? No.
A minute 30.
A minute 30. Okay. À mon opinion, pour cette position pour préfet, il y a beaucoup de qualités, c'est très nécessaire. Je suis un leader. Je suis une personne avec action, avec urgence pour Pontiac. Dans mon cœur, je désire avoir Pontiac un succès, revitalisation. Aussi, j'ai beaucoup d'expérience avec mes affaires. Aussi, c'est très important pour comprendre les affaires dans le Pontiac, les enjeux, les défis, aussi parce que j'ai eu expérience ça. Je suis presque bilingue, mais la réalité est beaucoup de personnes parlent en anglais. Et je suis un défendant pour bilingualisme. C'est très important pour Pontiac. J'ai cette priorité et j'ai
Unfortunately,
écouté.
we don't have time for the 7 priorities. We're at a minute 30 here.
OK.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
OK, Mme Bouchard.
Pourquoi voter José Bouchard comme préfète? Je suis parfaitement bilingue. Ça fait plus de 20 ans que je travaille en politique, plus dans l'arrière-scène, mais quand même assez active. Donc, je connais des leaders régionaux, je connais des leaders provinciaux, je connais des leaders au niveau fédéral. Donc, tous les gens qui peuvent, à un moment donné, venir nous soutenir dans tout ce qu'on a à faire. Pour moi, le Pontiac, c'est une histoire d'amour. J'adore les gens d'ici. J'adore les jeunes à qui j'ai enseigné et je veux absolument qu'ils reviennent ici et qu'ils aient la chance d'avoir un métier qui va être payant et qui vont être bien et qui veulent revenir ici. La COVID nous a montré que le travail à distance a permis à plein de nos jeunes de revenir et qu'ils étaient très heureux de pouvoir revenir. C'est sûr que là, les changements risquent de faire un effet inverse. Donc, on espère que tout ça ne se passera pas et on va travailler fort pour garder cette possibilité-là. C'est certain que pour moi, je vais me dévouer corps et âme, comme je l'ai fait pour Voix du Pontiac, comme je l'ai fait pour défendre nos droits de santé. Je vais défendre le Pontiac jusqu'à mon dernier souffle. J'y serai jusqu'à la fin. Et soyez sans crainte que demain matin, si vous me donnez le mandat le 3, le premier endroit où on s'en va, c'est à
Thank
Québec
you,
pour
Josie.
aller défendre au niveau de la loi 106
Merci,
qui risque
c'est fini.
d'affecter nos services de santé.
OK.
Merci. On avance. Monsieur Landry, à vous.
Ben, je pense que mon expérience à divers domaines, dont au niveau du municipal, parce que j'ai été conseiller municipal en 2000 à 2002, de 2017 à aujourd'hui. J'ai siégé sur différents comités, dont le CPE 1, 2, 3 Picaboo, dont ça fait 25 ans que je suis membre. Et je profite de l'occasion pour vous annoncer que il y aura des très bonnes nouvelles dans un avenir très rapproché par rapport au service de garde dans le Pontiac. Je suis aussi à l'Office d'habitation du Pontiac, différents autres comités dont j'oublie, mais je pense que ça me donne une bonne connaissance du territoire, une bonne connaissance des besoins du milieu, comme par exemple au niveau municipal, les municipalités qui ont des services comme l'aqueduc, les égouts, recyclage, ainsi de suite, ne vivent pas la même réalité qu'une municipalité rurale où ces services n'existent pas. Donc, c'est important de connaître la dynamique, de connaître les réalités de chaque communauté pour pouvoir bien défendre notre région, mais aussi c'est d'avoir un dialogue, c'est d'être ouvert, c'est d'être transparent, d'être honnête et de croire en son monde et de croire en notre région, ce que je fais depuis près de 60 ans maintenant. C'est pour ça que j'y suis encore ici dans le Pontiac, d'ailleurs.
D'accord, merci. Monsieur Saint-Cyr.
Je vais commencer par une statistique que j'ai vue la semaine passée dans le comité que je vous parlais, le comité des usagers du service de santé de l'Outaouais. 47% de nos jeunes qui sont au secondaire n'ont pas confiance en eux. C'est énorme. Où est-ce que vous voulez aller dans la vie si vous n'avez pas confiance en vous? Je viens du privé et j'ai fait une bonne partie de ma vie aussi dans le public, dans des centres de recherche où est-ce que les gens avaient confiance en eux. Quand on a confiance en nous, tout nous est ouvert. Moi, j'ai confiance en moi de faire la différence pour faire la différence dans le Pontiac et pour l'amener là où, dans 4 ans, bon nombre de personnes qui travaillent à l'extérieur du Pontiac puissent revenir travailler dans le Pontiac avec des bons salaires. Une autre statistique, c'est qu'on dit que le salaire moyen des gens dans le Pontiac est de 31 000 ou 32 000 $ par année. Ça n'a pas de bon sens. Il faut donc trouver des projets dans la nouvelle économie à valeur ajoutée. Moi, je me dis une chose, c'est que ça ne sert à rien de se comparer ou de retourner dans l'industrie du bois. Il faut aller chercher d'autres places où on pourra faire de meilleurs salaires et amener aussi des revenus à la MRC.
Merci. That's the end. We come to our last question. I don't know how we're doing on time, but yeah, thank
Is
you.
it possible for a little discussion?
Where's our time at? Yeah, John says thumbs up. Sorry, I don't have a clock in front of me.
Okay.
Sure, we can do 2 minutes. I'm wondering what you want to discuss, but let's open the floor to 2 minutes of discussion.
I was just going to,
Let's say 5. Okay,
pardon me?
5. I'm just expanding it to 5 minutes of
Oh,
discussion.
5 minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
No,
everybody.
I had just hoped to add something to why I would like to be supported in the next election, in this election.
Is it
En français.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
sure.
or we could just have a discussion instead of a very important issue. We haven't talked about the future of our seniors or our youth. And this is something that I would like to just say that the youth, are our future. We talked about how we can keep them here. I think a trade school would help. I think that also for hydro workers, we need to be, just like we did with the firefighters, we're able to conscript and train students. I think we need this for hydro as well as for our hospitals for nursing. I think for seniors, we need to look at something because eventually the provincial government may not be able to fund everything that they are, and I think that Pontiac, like Sweden or other places in the world, could embrace our seniors and ensure that they can stay independently in their homes as long as possible, providing food and cleaning services, and then also ensure that with Villa James Shaw and other housing that we have the next step when they need to leave their homes.
You're absolutely right. There are a lot of issues we haven't touched on.
Significant part of our population.
Yes, of course. It's something that the MRC, I'm curious to hear, I'm going to ask other people first if they have ideas about senior care. We need to talk about what the MRC can actually do about this in concrete terms. I don't want to hear, so anyways, I'm going to go to other folks first.
Well, those are very valid points, but apart from representation and asking from the MRC point of view, we all know those are provincial issues that in order to get changes, it's a long haul. So I would not want to give people false hope that things will resolve so rapidly. I think the MRC, within its power, leisure activity, making sure we keep our seniors active with Viactive and other things done by public health is something that we can work on as an MRC, but there are limits as to what the MRC can do. As I was saying, the 11 things that keeps on going, if we keep on hammering on stuff that does not belong to the MRC, we are just wasting our energy on that, and I don't think that's very productive. All the seniors want to live in their home. It's been an issue forever, and we just have to make sure that our healthcare, because it is within the privy of the healthcare to do home care, it is within the government mandate right now that it's something that's in the ministry's portfolio. So we just have to hammer to make sure that healthcare is being provided to our seniors. I think, and the same with education, it's a provincial issue. So
Thank you.
we don't need to step out of our lane. Let's stay in our lane, and that way I think we'll have a
I'm
more
gonna cut you
productive
off
MRC.
there. We're down to 2 minutes, so minute and a half now. Does anybody else have anything to add? Monsieur Landry? and Monsieur Sincere?
Yes. We keep saying that we have an aging population. I agree totally. But I think we need to have a picture, the big picture of our aging population. Where are they? What are their needs? The needs may not be the same out west as it is out east or in the center. And what do we have that exists? Home care service, like José is mentioning. I'm really for that because this way you can keep people out of institutions, and it's way less costly for the government. I don't know why they don't understand that yet, but anyways, that will be another battle to have with them. And also encourage local projects like La Résidence Meilleure or Villa James Shaw, which is about to concretize itself too in the near future. Those are initiatives by the population that we need to support, and at the same time it can attract investors and investments from the government.
Thank you. We don't have much time left, but Monsieur
Do I have
Sincere?
only 22 seconds?
No,
Maybe we can give you a little
We'll give you
extra
a
time.
minute if
Thank
you
you
want to.
very much.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of things to say about that, you know. I know that in Maniwaki they have a new CHSLD, you know, because they cry at the government of Quebec. That's it. That's all. And we can do the same thing. This is the first answer. We need other CHSLD in the MRC, of course. Now, there is ways to get more money at the MRCs, not with taxes, with other revenues. I can say something, but I have something in my head, but I don't want to say that here. But there is a lot of ways to do money for the MRC and for the municipalities, and by that we can help people that can need help for their life. Those people need to be not alone, but it's zero. Is it okay?
No,
Can
no,
I
you
continue?
go. Yeah.
Ces gens-là ont travaillé fort dans leur vie et ils ont besoin d'aide. J'ai mon meilleur ami qui est mort cette année, qui demeurait en face de l'usine. Il est mort parce qu'il n'avait pas de bracelet sur lui pour indiquer aux ambulanciers, venez-vous-en, dépêchez-vous, je suis malade. Et on l'a ramassé une journée et demie trop tard. Il y a des choses qu'on peut faire pour améliorer notre système de santé et ça nous appartient à titre de citoyen de la MRC.
OK, on va laisser là, on a tout le monde.
Je veux juste finir. On doit bonifier ce qu'on nous offre à l'heure actuelle à titre de Québécois.
OK. We could go on all night. I know there's lots and lots more to talk about. We're going to leave it there. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to people online. We hope everybody learned something helpful that will help them vote. And yeah,
And
Have a
would
great
just-
night.
I would
Merci
just like
beaucoup.
to thank the Equity for putting this platform to our accessibility. It's much appreciated.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
very
thank
much.
you very much for the equity. Exactly.
Thank you.